So this crisis, and I suggest even partially, for people, life has its various points of crisis. We're having kids, don't get sleep, they get sick, loss of job, a sickness, a death in the family. The kind of ruptures that kind of and so what we've run things have been running quite smoothly. Our theology all works, but then questions are raised. Questions like, why did that happen? Where was God in that? How do I understand that theologically? Now that invites us into a theological reflective space, but I think that's theological reflection as a discipline gives us the tools to do that. So that's where models and what I call intentionality in the process is really important. So some people may be more inclined to this, maybe not, but I actually think it's really important for everybody. So what we do with students here is actually, you do it in the internship, but I certainly do it in other papers, actually press them into that space. They have to do it. Yeah. And they come out the other side going, actually, this is quite hard. Yeah. But gee, it's like, it's kind of revolutionary. Yeah. Because and this is the thing I think with theology, that in our Western frame of thinking, theology often, I don't want to be but it often sits in a book. Yeah. And the criticism of New Zealand is, theology, you don't need all that sort of stuff, I just need this heart and that. But we're always theologizing, and there's an assumed theology or embodied theology, or not embodied, embedded theology that we're not even realizing. So being pushed into using a model then actually identifies, what are my assumptions? Yeah. Actually, I've got a whole lot of them. Yeah. And are those assumptions true? Yeah. Do they stack up? Are they actually biblical? Are they theologically consistent? You have a chance to actually look at that. And I think that's really helpful. So there's a sense of theological reflection as a posture, and there's theological reflection actually when we think about it as a discipline and the application of models. Yeah, exactly. And so when I apply that to what I was processing in 2020, I quickly realized, and this wasn't like I sat down one afternoon and theologically reflected, and I figured it out. Yeah. Now, this is over the course of many months, probably from about the first lockdown in March all the way to probably October, November of that year. I was really just wrestling. That's a really good, it's about 6 to 8 months. About 6 to 8 months just wrestling and sitting with the realization that the model of ministry, or the ministry philosophy, if you will, that I received was mostly based on pragmatism and mostly based on trends that other larger churches were doing and co-opting. And it's not to say that it's bad that you're doing what other people are doing. In some sense, it's all you really can do to a certain extent. We're kind of copying and innovating off each other. But I realized that in a moment of crisis like COVID, that was really caught out. And I realized that, we need to think about what is the purpose of Sunday morning? Like, what is it? Can it be multiple things? Sure, but what is the purpose? How do I think about that? And then what else does the church need to be about to actually begin to form, to disciple, and to reach people? What does the church need to be about? And these questions, I think we're thinking about them all the time. But there are moments of crisis that require us to think deeply about them. That's right. So there's a sort of